Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Uh, Kindly remember to subscribe, share, and comment so that you may be informed whenever I upload videos. So now today we are going to talk of a very interesting topic, and that's on nutrition, specifically on modes of nutrition. Now, before we even talk of the modes of nutrition, you have to know what nutrition is. So nutrition is the process by which living organisms acquire and utilize nutrients into the body metabolism. Now, remember, when you talk of features or characteristics, it's something that defines the existence of something. So, for example, nutrition is a feature of a living organism, which means that for an organism to be defined as a living organism, it has to be feeding, Yeah. So now, it's the process by which they acquire and then utilize. Yeah, so now for today's topic, we are going to talk of modes of nutrition, or basically ways of nutrition, ways in which they acquire and utilize these substances or these food substances. Now, as you can see here on first page, we've got this interesting picture here. As you can see, this one is a chef or a cook rather. So, as you can observe, he's cooking. Now, what's the ultimate aim for cooking? This guy wants to eat or to feed, wants to acquire nutrients. So now that's what we're talking about today, just feeding. Now let's start off with nutrition. Is the process by which new organisms obtain and use nutrients acquired or required for maintaining life. We are going to define that. Let's talk of modes of nutrition. Most I've said it's basically, or in simple terms, just ways in which they obtain and use those nutrients. So now this is what we define as modes of nutrition. Now, nutrition, the can talk of the modes of nutrition. They are broadly classified into two. We have autotrophic and heterotrophic. Now, autotrophic is mostly mainly for plants, whereas heterotrophic is for mainly animals. So now that's about it. Now let's go to two classifications, autotrophic and heterotrophic. And then now heterotrophic is further classified into three. You have Holozoic, Parasitic, and we also have another mode known as Saprophytic. Now let's start with autotrophic. Autotrophic now is used mostly by plants. It is the process by which organisms make their own food using simple inorganic substances obtained from their environment. Usually it's via the process of photosynthesis. Now, when I talk of simple inorganic substances, I'm talking of the raw materials required to manufacture their own food. And this includes something like carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. Sunlight is the condition. Now, so autotrophs are now the organisms which use the autotrophic mode of nutrition. You can give an example of green plants. You can use this like a forest containing or a park, which has green plants. So now they use the autotrophic mode of nutrition by or via photosynthesis. Now, for heterotrophic nutrition, now organisms depend on other organisms or dead organic matter as their food sources. So now they can't manufacture their own food, so they have to depend on something for their food, which is either other organisms or dead organic matter. Now, these organisms, we refer to them as heterotrophs, and they cannot make their own food and obtain their food in organic form. Now, Holozoic, let's start with Holozoic nutrition. Holozoic is the process by which, let's talk of the mode in which organisms, or the type of nutrition in which organisms take in solid organic food from other organisms. Now, when you think of Holozoic nutrition, now think of yourself. You are Holozoic, or use the Holozoic mode of nutrition or type of nutrition. Why? It's because for you to take in food, mostly you take it in form of solid, and it is obtained mostly from other organisms. Remember, plants are also organisms. So whenever you take in your yams, cassava, or let's say something like rice, they are products from other organisms. So now, these organisms, they are still heterotrophs. And now food needs to be broken down into small molecules before they can be used by the organisms. Now, in Holozoic nutrition, I've given you an example of a human being. Now, herbivores here, herbivores are also, okay, let's go back to herbivores. herbivores, you've seen those animals that feed on plants, including let me show you once more, the cows, the zebras, and etc. etc. And now talk of carnivores, they're also of the Holozoic nutrition. Carnivores which feed on animals only or feed on flesh. Let's talk of flesh. The dog is a carnivore. Okay, we can talk of just carnivore. We can talk of the leopards, basically the cat family. And now we have the omnivores. Omnivores includes now human beings, the pigs. Remember, the pig can eat meat, it can eat plants. It's just like basically the way a human being feeds. So under holozoic nutrition, we have herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Yeah, okay. Now, saprophytic type of nutrition. And remember, I started with autotrophic, and now we are in heterotrophic. Under heterotrophic, we've already discussed the holozoic mode of the holozoic type of nutrition. Now, under saprophytic, now it's still under heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, saprophytic is whereby we find organisms. Now, they depend on dead decaying matter for their food substances. They feed on dead organisms or non-living organic matter. They are known as saprophytes. Examples, you can give examples of fungi and bacteria. Now, I'm sure most of you have experienced something like this, whereby maybe you've bought a bread some few days ago, and maybe you forgot even to eat it. So after a few days, you come and open your bread, only to be surprised to find some gray substances over the slices. Now, that is called molds. Molds is a type of fungi. So those fungi tend to feed on that dead decaying matter. That's what we call saprophytic mold. You find also like something like mushrooms. Remember, mushrooms grow mostly where there had been an initially dead substance, okay, dead organism. For example, if you maybe, let's say your dog dies and one day you bury it just at your farm, and then maybe you don't bury it so much down or deep into the soil, just near the surface. After some time, you come back and find that there's some mushrooms growing there. Why? This is because mushrooms are a type of saprophytic organisms. They tend to feed on that dead decaying matter. So mushroom is an example of saprophyte. Now, how does a saprophyte obtain its nutrients? We give us the example of bread mold here. So now remember in your exams, mostly you'll find them drawing this figure, okay, this photo or this diagram, and then they ask you to name the parts. Now I've labeled you for them. I've labeled them here for you. As you can see, we have this one here. These are the spores. These one are the spores here. Now the spores, this is a part of bread mold or just a mold. These are the spores. Now the spores are enclosed in sac-like substance. Now that sac that encloses these spores, remember spores are a type of reproduction. Okay, spores are ways in which the molecule reproduce now. But these spores are now enclosed in a sac-like material. This sac-like material is known as a sporangium. This one here is a sporangium. Now you'll find that remember these are just like stems, the one that you see on the surface. The main branch is down here. And now this branch, you can talk of it as okay, these are the sporangiophores are the ones that resemble branches. Now the stem is beneath here. It's known as hypha, and then you have the rhizoids. So let's do a summary of it. So rhizoids are like root-like. Let's say you can't say they are roots, but they are root-like structures that are being used by molds. Basically, they use this for their nutrition. The rhizoid that obtain the nutrients from the dead decaying substance. So now rhizoids are root-like structures. Then hypha is the one that will be representing maybe the stem. And as you can see, this hypha is connecting the branches. This one's here is connecting the sporangiophores. Then you have the spores and crossing the sporangium, and this is the bread. So basically, that's about it. So now enzymes digest. Remember these rhizoids tend to secrete enzymes into the dead decaying substance. And now these enzymes will digest the complex organic molecules and break into simple soluble molecules. Soluble molecules that can be absorbed by the organisms. Now digested products are absorbed by the rhizoids here. Now importance of saprophytes. these organisms that feed on dead decaying matter, they have an importance. One is because they allow essential materials to be recycled into the ecosystem. Remember, when they tend to feed on those dead decaying matter, they'll be breaking them down, releasing nutrients. Those nutrients will now be recycled into the soil. Another role you can see is that they help us in let's sort of cleaning the environment. Because if you have dead decaying substances all over, the environment will be looking like something less. It will be very accommodative. But now, since they tend to decompose those dead decaying substances, they act as cleaners of the environment as well. So now organisms, now we are on the last type of nutrition under heterotrophic mode. Now it's parasitism. Now parasitism is where organisms obtain organic compounds from another living organisms of a different species. Now, mostly in the case of parasitism type of relationship, you find that they obtain those organisms and also in the process end up hurting their host. The host is the organism in which the parasite it embeds itself into. You find that it's not usually the intention of a parasite to harm the host, but in the process of obtaining its nutrients, it ends up affecting the host as well. So now, the parasite is benefited, but the host is harmed. Now, I'll use the tapeworm as a type of parasite to explain the parasitism mode. This is a tapeworm. You can see it has a head, ring of hooks, we have a neck, a sucker, all those stuff. Now, they live inside the small intestines of human, the tapeworm. Remember, there are several organisms that live inside the human, which are parasites, the tapeworm, the hookworm, the roundworm. Mention them. But now, in this case, a tapeworm lives inside the small intestine, and food is in small intestine is already digested. Thereby, since it's already digested, now this body covering of the parasite or this body covering of the tapeworm is usually adapted to absorb those food substances directly via the skin. It can absorb the food substances directly through the body wall of tapeworm by simple diffusion, just like that. Now this is a tapeworm, as you can see, structural adaptation. It has some kind of hooks here, as you can see. Yeah, the head bears hooks and suckers. So these hooks tend to adhere to the intestinal walls, so that whenever there is a process of digestion, the parasite tends to hold itself onto the intestine walls so that it will be digested together with the fecal matter to attach itself to the intestine wall, prevent being digested by peristalsis of the intestine. Now, it has a very long, flattened body. What's the essence of that? Remember, if it has a long, flattened body, it means that this parasite is also having a large surface area. Now, large surface area will result into a higher rate of absorption of these materials. It increases the area for more absorption of digested food by diffusion. And it also has a thin body wall to reduce the diffusion distance of the materials. Okay, so now the body is also covered by the cuticle to protect itself from attack of digestive enzymes from the host. And then it has no mouth. Why? I've said that a tapeworm simply obtains its nutrients by simple diffusion via the skin. So it doesn't have a need for mouth. That's why it doesn't have a mouth or a digestive system. No digestive system because the food is already digested. Now it is hermaphrodite, but also it doesn't need a mate to find for reproduction. So these are some of the other organisms that over. And then we'll be done. That's a filter feeder, clam structure, scallop structure, that's a coral, a rock feeder and filter feeder, a sand feeder, that's an insect and a snail, a mosquito head, mouth, drilling, filling up and get it out of a mosquito, the Morelia cycle. So this just was an illustration or a video to explain the various modes of nutrition. So guys, if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. If you feel like if there's an area which I've not touched on, basically based on modes of nutrition, kindly comment in the comment section so that I can get back to you. And also, kindly remember to subscribe, share, and comment. Whenever you subscribe, when I upload a video, you'll get to be informed. So let me know if you have a question in the comment section. And have a nice time, guys. Also, you can check out my YouTube channel. I've got some other videos on various subjects, and they may be of assistance for you. Thank you.